Hi guys, it's Sophie. So I wanted to do another sort of currently reading / chatty video with you guys today. So first off, I will show you what I'm reading at the minute. The first one I'm working my way through is Manhattan Mayhem, which is edited by Mary Higgins Clark. This is a collection of short stories that are all sort of mystery stories based in New York. I think I showed you this one before, but just in case. It's a very pretty book. It's got sort of a New York map on the front, and then they have photographs of iconic locations in New York throughout the book. So I'm about 75% of the way through this one, and so far I have to say I'm not overly impressed. I think that I've enjoyed a few of the stories, but the majority of them just really aren't tickling my fancy. I think the writing style of the typical sort of mystery thriller novel just isn't my type of thing anymore, which is a bit of a shame because I used to really enjoy those books, but I just don't think there's quite enough sort of vivid description or sort of interesting use of language in here for me at the minute. And they have some really, you know, acclaimed mystery authors in here, so if you are into mysteries and do read a lot of mystery stories, then you probably would really enjoy this. I just really don't think I am at the moment. The book itself is lovely, so I'm still kind of glad I have it, and it's been sort of nice to explore New York in that way, but not I have to say, not my favourite short story collection that I've read, and don't really think that I'm going to pick up a mystery for a little bit of time based on this. And the other book that I'm working my way through at the moment is on my Kindle, so I can't show you that one, I'll put a picture up for you instead. But it's White is Bewitching by Helen Oyeyemi. I've had this one on my Kindle for a really long time, along with a few others that sort of stuck, and finally thought it would be good to try and work through those ones. I'm actually really quite enjoying that one so far, though I'm finding it quite difficult to keep hold of the story and to keep hold of what's happening. It's quite an unusual sort of multiple perspective book, and I think sometimes I slip and forget quite who's speaking or how people are relating to one another, but overall it's quite enjoyable. It's essentially a sort of book about this young woman who has pica, which is an eating disorder in which you eat things that would be considered non-edible, so that can be sort of leaves or plaster or glass or chalk or anything of that sort of ilk, and they will eat that and often sort of substitute that for real sort of food. So it follows Miranda, who's the young lady who has pica, and her brother Elliot, who's her twin, and there's also another character called Orr, who is sort of Miranda's lover, and it's all just sort of this family drama, and it also relates to their ancestry. So the pica is a sort of condition that has reoccurred in their family's history, and Miranda sort of interacts with these sort of ghost-like apparitions of her ancestors, who sort of give her advice or guide her to an extent through the novel. So that's what's sort of going on for me with my reading at the moment. I do have another couple of books that I hauled quite recently that I'll just show for you quickly. So they're both short story collections, the first of which is Sea Lovers by Valerie Martin. Really interesting cover, I love how sparkly that is. And these are short stories that are of the sort of mythical variety. They talk about love to quite a great extent, they also touch on art, and the third sort of section is around transformation into animals and sort of the way animals and humans interact, and the nature of sort of what it is to be an animal and what it is to be a human. I've actually finished this one already, and it was sort of a bit mixed. Some of the stories I really enjoyed. There's one in particular that's about a mermaid that I really liked, but some just sort of fell flat for me. I think the ones that are around artists and sort of struggling art didn't really interest me all that much, but overall it was quite an interesting short story collection. I think I enjoy her writing enough that I would try and find maybe one of her novels in future. So the next one I picked up after seeing it on Mercedes' channel, and that is Human Acts by Han Kang. It's the same author who wrote The Vegetarian that I know that Jean from Bookish Thoughts sort of spoke about and sort of popularised from BookTube a bit. So this is a collection of sort of short stories / vignettes that form this sort of novel, this overall sort of arching storyline, set in South Korea around their uprising. In particular, it's sort of personalised by the loss of one particular boy who loses his life, and it's by his friend trying to find the sort of body and what's happened to this boy alongside the country's sort of struggle to find what it is and find its identity. It seemed really interesting to me. I've yet to get into this one, but I'm really excited to sort of dive in and see what I think. I haven't sort of looked at the writing style at all yet, but the formatting looks like it's going to be quite a quick read, just in terms of font size and layout, so not quite sure when I'll get to this one, but hopefully soon. And then beside the books I've already spoken about, I really am running out of things to read. I only have 2 other physical books that are left to read, which is Virginia Woolf's Orlando. I recently finished The Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf, so would have preferred to have a little bit of space between my next sort of Virginia Woolf, because I'm reading one a month at the moment, but I'm going to have to read this one soon because it's one of the only other 2 I have. Don't know anything about this one yet, so we'll see how that one goes. It's bigger than the other 2 that I've read by her so far, but I think these versions tend to have both introductions and sort of author's notes, how they relate to other texts, so not quite sure exactly how many pages the actual book is, but I tend to like to read the introductions and the sort of notes as well, so we'll see how I like this one. And I'm going to pick up A Room of One's Own at some stage too, so that'll sort of fill out my Woolf on my bookshelves for a bit, and I think I'll probably step away from her writing for a little bit of time. And then the last physical book that I actually have at the minute that's to be read is Henry James's What Maisie Knew. And to be honest, I'm really not excited for this one. I didn't mean to buy this book. There was this book and a copy of Atonement with a similar cover from the same sort of twin set, and I wanted the copy of Atonement and they sent me the wrong book. So I'm really not sort of all that excited to read this one, but I think I will probably read it anyway. It seems like a bit of a waste to give it away, but who knows, maybe I'll go to Oxfam and I'll do a swap for one I'm a bit more excited for. If you have read this and you think it's really good and you think I should give it a shot, then let me know, because I'm sort of edging sort of do I keep it or do I give it away, just because it's a book I really don't have any interest in and wouldn't have bought had I known that's what I was buying. So let me know if that's sort of the wrong opinion to have and that I should give this one a shot. Beside that, I have 3 more books left on my Kindle that I've had for years now, and I'm subsequently not very excited for any of them. But they're here and we'll see, because I'm running out of stuff, I may well just read them. I've got Ghost Story by Peter Straub, which I've started and got about 20% of the way through. Wasn't loving. I find it quite difficult sometimes when I'm on the Kindle to keep the story in mind, and it just doesn't affect me as greatly as it does when I read it in a book. I don't know why, so that might be part of it, but didn't really like that one. I've also got Revolution 9 by Peter Abrahams, which I think is a sort of story about an uprising, but I haven't started that one yet, and don't really know anything about that one, to be honest. And then the last one I have is Naomi's Room by Jonathon Aycliffe, which I think is sort of a family saga around the life of the father after his young daughter dies. That one sounds pretty good, but I'm just not all that excited to read it on a Kindle, to be honest. But seeing as that's all I have left, I feel as though I probably will end up reading those this month. I feel there's probably a big haul coming on, just because I am sort of trickling my way through my books really, and I'm really excited to read so many things I have on my wish list and so many things on my Goodreads, and I just don't own them yet, so I feel like I might have to either go to the library and borrow sort of as many books as I can and read those this month and next month, or I may just splurge and buy like 20-30 books. So we'll see which one of those 2 happens. Either way, I will show you what I have. I hope you're all well and that you are reading sort of wonderful happy making things this month, and I will see you soon in my next video. Alright, bye bye.